Welcome to Frogfoot Holler, y'all. I'm Michael. My nephew Colton's behind the camera today, and he's been very generous in helping me out today. Well, actually this week. Got a lot of work got to get done this week, and he's willing to help me out. So, without further ado, I want to introduce you to my dying cucumbers. All right, guys. So these are getting diseased beyond the point of where they're producing too much. Now, diseases can be dealt with over time, but that was the reason why I went ahead and planted so many cucumbers all at one time, is because I knew the disease pressure was probably going to be heavy this year. Well, it's pretty much heavy every year. So instead of getting, well, it's like 10 plants in the ground and getting a few cucumbers each time, we got them all pretty much all at the same time. We've pulled about 75, 80 pounds of cucumbers off these 3 rows of cucumbers this year. That's a lot of cucumbers, a lot of pickles, and a lot of relish. But guys, I tell you, they sure are good. So now these have served their purpose, and it's time to get them up. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through and pulling the netting and everything up all at one time and throwing the netting and the cucumbers away. I'm not worried about trying to fight with this netting and get all the cucumbers off. It'd be a pain in the rear end, y'all. And that's one thing I do like about this netting versus the wire, is I don't have to pull it off or pull the cucumbers off of the netting if I don't want to. I can just throw it all away. I think that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so we're also gonna be pulling something else up. Let's go take a look at that. So guys, we're over here with my, well, how do I put this? Good for nothing collard plants I've let go to seed that did not produce any stupid seeds. Stupid collard plants. So we're going to be pulling these up today also. And as you see, we got the 4-wheeler with the trailer on it. And we're, instead of trying to cart them out with a wheelbarrow, because as you can see, this is one plant. It'll be a lot easier dumping them on the trailer over there and taking them off in the woods. So we're going to be pulling these up also. Now I have plans of what I want to do with these beds, but we'll get to that after we do a super frog mode. So guys, we're going to jump into super frog mode, start with these collards, get them up in the 4-wheeler, or not in the 4-wheeler, on the trailer, and tote them off, and then we'll get our cucumbers and get them. So guys, let's jump to it. And we are back from super frog mode, y'all. All right, so I have some golden wax beans. Now these are the only seeds that I have not bought from Hoss Tools this year. And I tell you, with the way Hoss Tools seeds are doing, I might regret not buying them from there. But these were a last minute pickup because I wasn't going to plant them, or hadn't planned on planting them before. But Mama Frog said she wanted some yellow wax beans, so Baby Frog has to plant some wax beans. So what we're doing is, where our cucumbers row are, or were, we went ahead and retilled them, and we laid out the rows, or laid out the beds, and laid out the rows in them, and I'm doing double rows, I think. See, I only have 3 packages of these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and plant these seeds in one row first, and if I don't have enough to do the second row, or second row in this bed, I ain't doing a second row. So let's see what we can do. See guys, yellow wax beans, they need to be planted about a 1-inch depth and thinned out to about every 6 inches. So what I'm actually going to do is go ahead and plant them about every 6 inches or 8 inches. I'm not exactly going to plant to the specifications, but it'll be close. Wow, this is fun. Now it looks like I might have enough to do both rows. Wow, I just pulled out one. That was it. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So it looks like we are going to have enough to do both rows with one package. Now, when I do this other row here, if I have more than enough seeds to do this row, I'm going to come back and thicken up the rows some and plant in the spaces that are a little bit wider than other spaces. But I shouldn't have too many left over. So guys, we're going to jump into super frog mode and get these rows planted. I got this row, and one right over here. So guys, let's get to hopping. Guys, I just love that super frog mode. And I tell you, as you can see, we were able to go ahead and get all our beans in the ground, nice and tightly packed. Well, I'll say tightly, lightly packed. And guys, peas and beans are one of those wonderful vegetables or plants that don't require a lot of nutrients. Well, they do, but they're good foragers, guys. And you notice that I did not amend my soil. I literally tilled up the ground and planted right back. And there's a lot of people that say, well, that's a no-no, you need to amend your ground. Well, what I've noticed on my property, every time that I plant my peas and beans, it's always after I've planted something else there. Tomatoes, squash, peppers, pretty much anything, corn. And I normally do not amend my soil right then. Now, when they start to pop up, I might go ahead and add a low dose of fertilizer. I don't recommend anything higher than a 5-10-10 mix, because they really don't need it. Now, it also depends on how poor your soil is, but we have a lot of real sandy soil here, and I've noticed that they're really good foragers for what they need. And what they don't need, or what they need and don't have, they pretty much produce on their own. And, well, guys, I don't see why to waste the fertilizer if I don't necessarily need it. And I normally have a really good crop, as you can see, of beans and peas every year. Now, this will be the first year I've grown the yellow wax beans, or golden wax beans, however you want to call them. But I'm pretty sure they're going to react the exact same way, guys. Now, if you want to go ahead and fertilize or amend your soil, if you're using a fertilizer, I would go ahead and till up the ground, put you a dose of 5-10-10 down, and till it in, and then let it sit for about a week or so, and then go ahead and plant your peas. Or if you use compost, go ahead and put some compost down and till it in, or just lay it right there on top. Either way, it'll get in there. But me personally, and my experience, I just go ahead and plant them right off the bat. Now, the one thing I do notice with the peas and beans is the more loose the soil is, sandier, the better they seem to grow. They like to get their roots out there and spread out. And even though I have, in working with other people, planted peas and beans in Georgia red clay. And I'm talking about solid Georgia red clay. They do come up. The one thing I've always been told, though, is you got to have that ground nice and broke up before those peas will come up real good. But they will come up in just about any soil. In fact, I think they'll come up through concrete if you let them. But guys, I know there's a couple of y'all that probably don't have good luck with them. And that's probably more of a soil issue, but if you can break up that ground, by all means, break it up and break it up and break it up. Like I said, the looser it is, the better they seem to do for me. So let's try it. Now, y'all see behind me, we have the collards out, and we got the tiller over there. And, well, we're not going to be planting anything right there. See, I have plans for that. It'll be later on, but we're going to be changing up how this main garden is situated. We're going to go from having in-ground plants to raised beds. Now, I got some plans to take down some pine trees on my property, and normally pine wood for us is a outside like bonfire kind of wood. We don't burn it in our fireplace. And I can't see wasting all the wood that I'm wanting to take down. So I had to come up with a better plan. So I'm going to take a bunch of them logs and I'm going to saw them up and I'm going to start making raised beds. And I'm going to start right there where the collards were. It's going to be a little bit of work, but it's going to get done. And I believe after it's done, it's going to look really nice. I hope. Now, the pine wood, it don't do too well in the south as far as not rotting. And, well, hell, neither does any of the wood. The only wood that seems to last a little while here is cedar wood, or your conifers. And I just can't see paying those prices. Actually, I can't see paying the prices for pine wood right now either. Lord have mercy. And as many beds as I'm going to have, no, not going to happen, y'all. So I'm going to take those logs, I'm going to place them down and make some raised beds that way. But I'm going to do them one bed at a time, a little bit at a time as that stuff gets out of here. And I'm going to work from that way, this way, or this way and that way, or that way and this way. Depends on how the beds get finished out. Now, I'll be starting with the collard bed first, then doing the strawberry bed. And, well, however else it goes, it goes. So guys, got a lot of work ahead of us. And I sure do appreciate y'all joining me. Remember, if you ain't done it already, hit that thumbs up for me. Hit that subscribe button if you ain't subscribed. And hit that notification bell. Every time I put out a video, you'll be able to know it and be able to watch me. Probably do something stupid. Really good at that. All right, guys. This has been Michael with Frogfoot Holler. Y'all have a froggy day.